Yeah. So I guess we can move on now. All right. Yeah. Let's get to episode 5, which is The Gunslinger, directed by Dave Filoni. Um, so after the village stuff, Mando was hoping that he could keep Baby Yoda on that village planet, but bounty hunters know where they are, so the Baby Yoda's still in danger. So he decides to take back Baby Yoda, and Kara decides to stay behind. But so
For
they,
now.
yeah, for now. So they go to this other desert planet, I guess, and they park their ship because Mando got into a firefight in space with this other dude trying to blast him in space. But of course, Mando,
The planet's called Tatooine, by the way.
is it Tatooine? I didn't
That
know.
was Tatooine. That
Yeah.
was Mos Eisley.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I wanted to say Mos Eisley, but I'm like, okay, come on. Just because it's a desert planet doesn't mean it's Tatooine, okay? But okay, so it's Tatooine.
It is Tatooine.
All right. So they get on Tatooine because Mando got into a space fight with this one dude. They're trying to kill him for the bounty, but of course he fails. So trying to get get the ship fixed, so they land in Mos Eisley. And then on the way he gets this. There's this lady with those fixer bots that keeps the ship, and
Pit droids.
huh?
Pit droids.
Pit droids. Yeah, I never knew what they were called. Pit droids, and they watch over Baby Yoda while Mando is trying to find some work there to get some more credits. So he goes
Which
into.
actually, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm really happy that they brought back the pit droids just for that one episode because they were cute to watch in the Phantom Menace. That's just me though.
No, I agree. I like that he brought back the pit.
yeah.
Like they had
Yeah.
really nice charisma, and I'm glad that they got some time to shine lately.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, sorry. Anyway,
Yeah, that's okay. So he meets up with this dude called Toro Calican, to hunt down this female bounty hunter. I think it's Fennec Shand. I think that's her. So they're trying to get the bounties and share the profits. He shares the profits with Toro. So they take the speeders in the middle of the desert to find her, and then they eventually find her, and then they try to bring her in, and then the Mando is going back for something, and Toro is holding her captive, and a bunch of filler random stuff happens. So I want to go first with this one. So I think most people can agree this is the weakest episode of the season.
Yeah, this was the episode I was thinking of.
Yeah. And I feel bad because this is Dave Filoni's live action directorial debut. He's never done live action directing before. This is his debut, so you can feel that he's still trying to figure some things out. Not to say that it's like a badly directed episode, but it's just like as far as like the script and the motivations for characters, it just felt kind of inconsistent and random, and the characters they introduce in this episode is inconsequential to everything else, which, not to say that you need every character in these episodes to build to something, but it's just like the characters that they establish feel wasted, and I don't care about either of them. Even the actress who was the female bounty hunter Fennec, I think the actress is Ming Na Wen or something like that. I could be wrong. I'm sure people will correct me in the comments, but I actually really like her. She's in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. She's really good in that. So I was looking forward to seeing what she would do, and she doesn't really do anything in this episode. So I was really disappointed. She gets killed. And I'm like, and then when it came to this Toro guy, this Jersey Shore looking motherfucker, I didn't give a crap about him. Like, he almost felt out of place with the entire season. Like, he didn't feel like he fit, So, and then the whole like confrontation at the end when he ends up turning on Mando, that was you know, that was quick. Like it was kind of anticlimactic. You know, Mando just shoots him while he's not paying attention, and that's it. And that's really okay. So, that's really all I gotta say about it. Just it was kind of a filler, but you know, I don't blame. I mean, Dave Filoni for his directorial debut, it could have been worse. You know, it's like I think it was competently made. Like I'm sure he's going to improve from here, and I'm sure Jon Favreau and the other directors are going to help him along the way because you know he's mostly done animated stuff up until this point. But for right now, it's just this one left a little bit to be desired. You know. So, what did you guys think about this episode?
Yeah, I agree. The way me and my boss like to describe this episode is it's filler. It's like, yeah, it's something that you could skip and not really feel like you missed too much. Because when I was rewatching Mandalorian, like, what, last month, 2 months ago, like, I skipped over episode 5 because I just don't like that episode. And, I didn't feel like I really missed a lot, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I just really didn't like this episode, but that's pretty much all I gotta say.
Yeah, for me, it's just like this is like one of the 2 episodes of the first season of Mandalorian where it's like they're just kind of feel like they're the black sheep of the Mandalorian, and I always refer to them as episode 2 and as episode 5 because I felt like both of those were like the perfect examples of filler episodes where like nothing really happened, where it's either nothing really happens or stuff happens that we didn't want to see. You know? Where it's like episode 2 was more of like, you know, there's stuff in that episode where I don't really want to see it. Episode 5 is just like, what even happened? Like, we're on Mos Eisley. That's like the most interesting thing about that episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't, and it's like visually, like shot, like it feels like Mos Eisley, but like that's the only thing that it's really got going.
Yeah, it's a what is it, what did they call it? Something of scum and villainy?
A more
Wretched hive of scum and
more
villainy.
wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah, wretched hive of scum and villainy, that's about it.
Alright, so am I up?
Yeah, that's all I got to say.
Alright, so I know y'all dislike this episode a lot. I actually will be the contrarian here. I genuinely enjoyed this episode. It's the next episode I didn't like so much personally. This is a filler episode, though. I know filler when I see it, and I adjusted my glasses, squinted my eyes real tight, and went, "That's some filler right there, fellas."
Mm-hmm.
Nothing really. I think I like. So what? Episode is the characters. I like that Toro tries to appear cool, and like it's like he's like a doofier Han Solo, where he sits at the exact same spot as Han and Greedo do. Like, if you notice that, like, that spot is meant to parallel that, and I, like, was like, well, I see what they're setting up here. And it's that he's not as cool as Han, and he's, like, this young, foolish bounty hunter, and in a way, I feel like this episode kind of contributes to, like, seasoning of the world, unnecessary seasoning, but I appreciated it from the level of, like, it's kind of cool to see how people get into the guild.
Right.
What they have them do. And, like, this is what happens to rookie bounty hunters that are in over their head. I also think that, that Fennec, who is, Fennec Shan, I don't think that she's dead. I do think that, like, that's too high profile of an actor to cast for that role.
You sure? Because she got shot point blank.
I know. I know. But I really feel, I guess it's possible that it could be all, because again, Gwendolyn Christie was cast as Captain Phasma and died very unceremoniously after coming back from the grave once.
Like I said, I hope Fennec is still alive, because I really like that actress, and the little that we got from her in this episode is interesting, but like, it made it seem like she's dead, you know, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I think the cool part of the episode to me was I love every moment with the child where the engineer lady, I forgot her name, is like taking care of it and being a nanny while trying to repair Mendo's ship. And I think the episode is a filler that takes advantage of the fact that, okay, you have to see how, after this little battle, like, how he deals with this stuff. Also, that battle, by the way, has the most 80s looking ass explosion. That dude screams when he dies after he does Mando's one-liner to him, and then Mando goes, "That's my line." And then it explodes, and I was like, I just need, like, a neon pink sunset over, like, a red background, and it would have been 80s as hell. Because it just felt like it felt like a lost clip from a original trilogy. Like, that part in particular, I was like, okay, this feels very retro. I liked that. I actually enjoyed that episode because I do sometimes like some filler. It was just a chill time. I could turn my brain off for a second and know that it was just a self-contained point. And I like that it felt like its own little thing going on here.
Yeah.
So, I don't have much to say about it in terms of quality because I can acknowledge that it isn't the best episode. But I can say that if this is what people think is a low episode of this season, that's a testament to the quality of this whole thing.
Right.
I really genuinely like how this series' low point is what many series would have as their high point. So I think that is good for the show.
Yeah. Like, even though, I personally think it's the weakest one, it's not bad. Like, it's like...
I was going to say, like, it's not considered a bad episode.
No, it's
just kind of underperforming.
Yeah, like that space thing in the beginning, that was my favorite part of the episode. Like, part of me wishes that they just did, like, a space type episode, and, like, maybe they were stranded and the ship was, like, damaged or something, and they tried to figure out a way to, get out of it, that probably would have been more interesting. But, and I'm okay with filler in shows. Like, not every episode has to build to something, but it's just like the filler that they decided to use just wasn't that interesting to me. I don't know.
Which, by the way, that space battle in the start of the episode, that's the only space battle we got from this whole season, by the way.
That is true. That's the only space thing. So, which I'm like,
which is one of the few things that I didn't really like about Mandalorian is lack of space battles.
Well, they want it to be different, They want to...
I know, like, season 2 is probably going to change it up a little bit. We're probably going to get more space stuff, hopefully. But, for the time that we got, it's just,
Sorry, if I make a test here, I enjoy the lack of space battles, like, distinctly, because that gives it... Because, I know the space battles are a huge part of Star Wars. I am a blasphemer in the fact that I have never been the biggest fan of those. I do enjoy them, and I do enjoy when they're executed well, and they are visual spectacles. I actually kind of like that The Mandalorian's a very ground-based character-to-character show. The parts of Star Wars that people really like that, I never was into. I was always more about the Jedi, more about the bounty hunters, more about the people.
Yeah.
I don't know, something about space battles to me is not as enthralling, and I always felt like those parts of the movies where my brain kind of stops firing neurons.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
So, that's why with The Mandalorian, I was like, you're telling me this is a Star Wars series that doesn't emphasize that? Hey. And I like that this is the one space battle. Like, I really like that it is muted here, because The Mandalorian's a bounty hunter, and, like, true, they should be able to do bounties in space, but I like that his ship is a piece of shit, and they acknowledge that repeatedly. And the fact that, like, it's so crummy, it's not really made for that. And so he focuses on ground targets. I think that there's a consistency there that I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's not an ace pilot like a Skywalker.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, I agree with that too, because, like, that could have been along with the checklist of stuff that to remind people with Star Wars, like, we need a space battle, we need somebody to use Force abilities, blah, blah, blah. So I'm glad they didn't feel the need to do that, and the show still felt engaging. One other thing that I didn't like about this episode, I mentioned this earlier with the Sand People. I didn't like what they did with the Sand People in this episode. I thought it was kind of silly. Like, so
Yeah.
So these same Tusken Raiders that will shoot out people randomly doing pod races, assaulted Luke, and like freaking what they did to Anakin's mom in Attack of the Clones. They're just these freaking bloodthirsty things, is what we assume to be.
Right.
But Mando can just sign language with them, and they're good. Like. Are you kidding me right now? That's all they had to do.
I don't know if it was this part, but I think it's like Native American Sign Language, actually.
I mean, that's cool and everything, but it's like,
Yeah.
like if the Raiders were that civilized to speak through sign language or whatever, like what made them so savage in the other portrayals? Like, are these more civilized Tusken Raiders? Like, I don't understand that. Like,
These are the polite Raiders.
yeah, I'm sorry, but no. I see they were trying to be like, not all Tusken Raiders are bloodthirsty savages.
Not all Tusken Raiders.
But I'm like, I'm sorry, no, they're bloodthirsty savages. You can't just tell me, oh, they're okay because, like, some of them do sign language while on the other side they're freaking hanging this poor old lady on a freaking thing and, oh, brother, no. But anyway, moving on. Going to episode 6, The Prisoner, which is once again directed by Rick Famuyiwa. I think we're gonna have a fight, Beef, because you said this was the weak one. Hold up a second. We'll get to that in a second. Hold on.
Wait, what did he say?
Beef with beef.
Yeah, I have some beef with Beef. But anyway, let me talk about the synopsis. So in this episode, Mando goes to this old friend that he has that used to do like missions with him back in the day. I think his name is Ranzar Malk, played by Mark Boone Jr. If you guys don't know him, he's that detective from Batman Begins where Batman was interrogating him, like, where are the other drugs going? It's that detective dude. But so he gives him a mission to help rescue this purple alien dude from this prison ship, and he takes a little ragtag team, some may say a Suicide Squad, and to help to rescue this purple alien dude. People on the squad is the purple dude's sister that has history with Mando, and then there's this big red devil alien, and then there's who's the third person? Sorry guys, I'm looking this on the computer.
There was a bald guy, I think.
Yeah, the bald guy.
I could not
Mayfield, played by Bill Burr. So, and then there's also this droid thing that helps him too, that pilots the ship or whatever. So it's pretty much this like heist thing to get this dude out. So that's pretty much my bulk of it. So this is once again one of my favorite episodes. So yes, this one also feels like filler, but this is the type of filler that, you know, I was actually entertained by, unlike with episode 5. Like, this is the type of filler that I like, you know, like it's actually engaging and the characters are more interesting to watch, and you felt like there was an actual end goal for this episode. There's actually a motivation, and it's better structured, and, you know, there's some interesting set pieces here and there, you know, so I thought this was more interesting. Now, when it came to that purple alien dude, didn't care for him that much. He was a waste, and you could even say the ragtag team was a waste as well, but still, with the time that they were in, was more engaging than Toro from episode 5, like, so I instantly was involved. So let me hear from Beef first. Why don't you like this episode? Let me hear it.
Alright, let me explain that you're right. Okay, so I didn't know it'd be so controversial. I didn't mean to be so spicy.
No, I'm just messing with you.
Alright. Let me explain my sentiments with this one. 6, I do think it's good. Again, if I'm calling this one my least favorite episode, it's not because it's a bad episode. It's just, like, It's like a series that I would give like an 8 or 9 out of 10. Really, this would be like a lower 8, 7. So with this episode in particular, or I guess here's my scale I made up for the series is that of the 8 episodes, I'm going to give it a point. As each episode can earn 1 point, so it's like a scale out of 8. The series is 7 out of 8 for me if I had to give a score. There's only one episode I didn't like, which was this one. But not because, again, the part that was redeeming was when Mando goes off at the end, which was very satisfying, and again, it had a very horror movie energy when the halls are with red alert, and you see him splitting them up door by door.
Mm-hmm.
And taking them out, he becomes a bit of a monster there, and I think that's cool. I just did not like any of the build-up to that point. I felt so detached, personally, and I think it might have been the episode's fault. If I rewatched it later, I think it might be fine, but it's because I think I bulleted the show just to get to this part. That by this point I had fatigue. So 5 probably was like where I was like at my peak energy level. 6 was where I started to taper down. But for me, the issue I had with this episode, where its pacing to me just was like, I don't know what's going on for a second of it, and I was like, okay, get this, he's being set. I didn't know the clear relationship between everybody. I don't know. I just felt kind of lost in this one. And then once Mando got screwed over, I was like, okay, now I see what's happening here. The bounty's escaping. It was clearly across. And then his rampage of revenge was so cool.
Oh yeah.
That entire. I will say this. I like episode 6 less than episode 5, but that segment where he is just, I'm going to get every single one of you for screwing me over, is better than the entirety of episode 5. It's just not as long.
If I may interject, it's like that part right there. I kind of feel like shows you how, like, yeah, this guy is the Mandalorian. He's a cold-blooded bounty hunter. Like this is you know, that's what he is. Like up until this point, you don't really. I mean, you see, you know, how formidable he is in combat and everything, but you don't see. I guess I should say like how cold-blooded he can be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
it's
yeah,
like I feel like he definitely goes into a.
What was that?
Uh-oh, did we lose Beef?
Beef, are you there?
Oh no.
Beef?
Beef?
I think he cut out, dude.
Oh.
Beef, do you have any beef? You got no beef?
Oh man. Okay. Well.
Beef, beefy.
Okay. Well. Wow.
Beefy.
Okay. I think while Beef, hopefully he's trying to figure out a way to get back. Ruby, go ahead.
Well, for me, I'm kind of like in the middle of the road. It's not one of my favorite episodes, but it's definitely not one of my least favorites. I think, like, it's got, like, good, like, character interactions. Like, I enjoyed the chemistry between everybody. The only thing that episode really loses me at is just everyone just, like, all of a sudden, like, we're all turning on Mando. It's just, like, the way that was executed, it was, like, come on. Like, they could have done anything else. Like, it just felt like that, like, by the time they locked him up, it was just like, okay, this is just, now it's a filler episode. Like, great. But at the same time, it was, like, entertaining to watch. Like, the horror aspect of, like, Mando trapping everybody in this freighter was a lot of fun. But at the same time, it was very draggy for me. Like, it took way too long for us to get to where we needed to be.
I could see what you're saying.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like, that whole, like, horror aspect of, like, trapping everybody in the ship took, like, a good maybe, like, 15 or so minutes of that episode. Maybe, like, 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah. And it's like, I knew from a mile away that they were going to betray Mando. I'm like, it's just a matter of when. And
Oh yeah, they were never.
Yeah, or maybe they never were going to, you know? Like, maybe they actually, like, can see Mando's ways, and, like, they actually wanted to side with Mando.
which
would have been interesting to see because we never really get to see a lot of characters do that.
Right. You're back, Beef?
So, like, I had hope for these characters, but then they turned on them, and I was like, okay, you know what, never mind, fuck you.
Discord put me in the cone of silence again, I apologize.
Right. Alright, go ahead, pick up from what you left off, Beef.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say, Discord put me in the cone of silence again. But
Yeah.
all I was saying, again, Ruby actually finished that segment up perfectly. It just dragged, and I felt next to the episode, it was as if I disappeared, and then Ruby, knowing my spirit, continued on in my name.
Yeah, I got you, man. I got you. Yeah, I got you. I'll carry.
But yeah, I think that that's pretty much all I really wanted to say about this one. Was just I felt mixed on it. I think my fatigue just by getting to this episode, because again, shot getting all these back to back as enjoyable as it is, this one dragged. It just was the one
like
that didn't need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, 5 I feel like kind of, even though it's definitely more identifiable as filler than this one is, because this also I do like the ending a bit though with the Rebel X-wing.
Oh shit!
That was a nice touch. I enjoyed watching that.
Especially, did you guys notice that
What did Jon Favreau, one of those pilots?
it was Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and Deborah Chow?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize. Yeah, that's all of them. That was.
Oh, I'm sorry. No. It was Dave Filoni, Rick Famuyiwa, and Deborah Chow. My bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool.
If I were to nitpick a little bit on that, it would have been nice if only one of those directors were actually the pilots, and then the other two were like casted actors or actresses. It's just like one cameo would be fine, but like having all three of them be the pilots is just like, okay, what?
Tacky.
I mean, I thought that was
a little bit.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. I was fine with it.
I think it's funny in a very human way, where it's like, who wouldn't want to be in Star Wars for just a second?
Yeah, I'm like, why not?
So,
if I was a director, I would have done a cameo like that.
Oh hell! If I was directing Star Wars, I would have cast myself as the main character.
Oh my God, you're gonna be Seth MacFarlane? Like, come on.
Ruby presents Star Wars, starring Ruby as the Star War.
It's the Star Wars.
So he's pretty much gonna be Seth
I
MacFarlane.
couldn't think of a character name on the spot. Listen,
Like the end of my movie is just gonna end with, "Who the hell are you?" I am the Star Wars.
Oh God, it's gonna be Seth MacFarlane in the Orville, or it's gonna be like what? Oh brother.
Come on, man. It's just like But no, this episode isn't bad. It just dragged a lot. And Ruby, you finished that perfectly. So I'm gonna pass the mic.
Yes.
What's up?
Yeah, so I definitely see what you guys are saying, that there's parts of this episode that drags, and the characters are very predictable with, they're going to betray him, blah, 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 and it's like by the numbers, but at least, like, I can forgive it a little bit because, like, to me, this is the most unique looking episode of the entire season. Like it's... So, like, the stuff they do in this episode, it's like they don't do in the others. So it's like it's more space-based, and just seeing, like, him working together with this ragtag team against this droids on the prison ship, it's just aesthetically, it just feels more interesting, I guess. So I guess that's why I could forgive the dragging and the by the numbers plot, I guess. But that's just me. But anyway, we getting down to the wire. The last 2 episodes.
Yeah, getting down to the last 2.
So we got The Reckoning, which is really just this is 7 part 1, and then chapter 8 is 7 part 2, because this literally feels like just a 2-part episode. But anyway, The Reckoning is once again directed by Deborah Chow, and I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to remember what happened at the very beginning.
You're not alone. I'm trying to.
Shoot, guys.
Mando gets a transmission from
The Cole character
died.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Mando gets a Grief. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Mando gets a transmission from Grief to do it. Then he has a proposition to give back Baby Yoda and stuff like that, and threatening his life, blah 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 blah. So Mando plays along with it, So what does he do? He gets Cara Dune and Quill to help him with the thing in case stuff pops off, and Quill takes his creature things with him, and also he rewired IG-11 as well, so he's not a bounty hunter droid anymore. He's a nursery droid. And of course, Mando's like, "What the hell are you doing with this thing? It kills everything. It's a bounty hunter." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "No, I rewired him, and he's gonna do what I say. I have spoken." So, so they go back to meet Grief, and so like Grief then has second thoughts of turning in Baby Yoda, and ends up allying with Mando and Cara and them. And then they try to figure out this elaborate scheme to get the one up on the Empire and Baby Yoda or whatever, and that's pretty much what goes down for the next 2 episodes. So, what you guys think about this one?
I liked it a lot. Builds up tension and everything. I'm trying to remember if it was this episode or the next episode where Clone Wars fans went crazy. But,
it was the last episode.
It was the last episode.
It was the last episode. Oh yeah.
But no, yeah. I mean, it was nice. I mean, you knew that no matter what, Mandalorian was not going to, give up Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like this. I really like this episode. Because they're at this point they're just building up to the finale, and I liked everything they were building up until this point, and I like that all the characters most of the characters we've seen throughout this season, they are working together with Grief and Cara and Quill and IG-11. I liked them working together or whatever. There was that scene where they were camping at night, and there was these giant pterodactyl creatures attacking them. I thought that was a suspenseful type scene, similar to the ATST in episode 4. It was a very eerie scene and stuff like that, because you didn't know where the pterodactyls were coming from, and they were blasting everywhere, and then they were like picking up people left and right, and Grief got injured. And then that's when we finally see Baby Yoda using his healing abilities to help Grief with that, so I like that. And then once they get into the town and try to get the one up on the client, and then we're introduced to I'm guessing he's a main Imperial person. I don't know really. Moff Gideon, played by Giancarlo Esposito. So I thought he was interesting. We don't get too much of him because he's like, I guess more of I don't know. I wouldn't say he's mysterious, but it's like they do leave some of his development as a secret, I guess. Like he's just coming off with another Imperial officer or whatever. But I really liked him, because like he meant business when he was there. He was like, reminds me of a Nazi soldier or whatever. And especially when I liked that they were holding him at gunpoint in that bar thing, and you have this army of stormtroopers, and they have these giant weapons getting ready to blast them to smithereens or whatever. So I just liked all the tension with that. So, and then I like that they're slowly trying to have Mando and IG-11 try to, get along with each other again, because Mando has this prejudice against droids and stuff like that. So I like that he's slowly starting to trust him or whatever. These are the building blocks, at least. One thing that we didn't talk about is the flashbacks with Mando when he was a boy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that was this episode, right?
Yeah. I'm going to say I didn't really care about that, to be honest with you. I see what they were trying to do. Like, I guess they were trying to develop the reason of why he's so apprehensive against droids or whatever, and I guess trying to plant some seeds to show where he comes from or whatever. But like, I don't know. I felt like it didn't really do much, to be honest with you. Like, the only thing it really sets context for is the droid thing, but like outside of that, it didn't really add anything to see him being like abandoned as a child, really. Like, I mean, it does add a layer, but it's just like I wasn't really thinking about that when they were starting to bring everything together with that. Like, at the end, I'm still like, oh, that's what happened. Okay, fine, I guess. I kind of figured that he was abandoned as a child. He came off that way. So this whole reveal thing didn't really do much for me. But if they were trying to add more with IG-11 or whatever, I think it was decent enough. But that's my overall feelings about the episode. What do you guys think about it? What?
Personally, I just think that these last two episodes of the season are probably my personal favorite episodes of the season. They're probably, to me, the best episodes. I really like that we got to see some of the characters come back from previous episodes, like Kara and Quill. I really enjoyed both those characters, and it was nice to see all of them kind of like interact together as like I don't want to say more of like an Avengers-esque type group where they're like all meeting each other for the first time, and it's just like, they kind of have a little bit of discrepancy here and there, but like they start to like accept that they're all on the same team and they're all after the same things, so they all like they make up and they work together, which is nice. I enjoyed the fact that Grief didn't want to turn on Mando. That was the one thing that I was a little bit afraid of, is that all of a sudden he was just going to turn on Mando. But he didn't do that, and I was really happy. Because if he did, I would have been really pissed.
Oh, yeah.
And it would have been no point, because like at this point we've seen this reoccurring theme like in almost every single episode. So it's like we don't need to see that with the guy that set it up. I mean, in a way it would make sense, but like we've seen it multiple times already. Like, give us something cool, like something different. And it was nice to see him have a bit of a change of heart in essence. And then, of course, at the end of the episode, we get Moff Gideon, played by the same actor who played in Maze Runner: The Scorched Trials and Death Cure. For those of you who've seen those movies, you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed him in those movies, and he was that kind of. I got that kind of enjoyment just from watching him being a villain. Like, I haven't looked at the cast list for that episode, and I see him like coming out of that TIE fighter for the first time. I look at his face like, wait, where do I know him from? Oh, yes. I was really excited to see where they would go with him, and I'm so glad that they didn't kill him off yet.
Right.
Yeah. There was only like one thing that I wanted to add on like my previous thoughts with this episode. Didn't this episode come out like a week before episode 9 did?
Yes.
Or like the week of?
Yeah. They
So,
did
like,
that weird thing like when the last season was released, that they showed a little clip of The Rise of Skywalker on Disney Plus, where I'm like, what the hell?
Right. The main reason I bring that up is because I feel like that's kind of a big reason why they had to showcase Force healing here. Because for a lot of the casual fans of like Star Wars, they'd see Force healing in episode 9 and be like, whoa, wait a minute.
Hey, what the fuck?
Yeah, right. So they have to set context for people to be like, wait, Force healing's not a thing. Yes, it is.
Was it in Clone Wars as well?
No,
it
this
wasn't.
is the first time that they showed it in any sort of like media outside of books and comics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I personally I don't really like that, because in a way it's just saying that like this is a way that we can cheat death.
That's pretty much it. Pretty much came off as like a, hey, let's ease people into this before they question it in episode 9. Like, it didn't feel like it had to be here, but
Right.
Anakin did all that shit. If only he had just been a little bit more patient, we could have had Force healers.
But at the same time, remember that Force healing has a consequence as well, because they're not just healing people and everything's okay. When Jedi uses when they
transferring their life essence to another person. Yeah.
Right. So it's not.
The Red Child did a lot of that, because I guess that was just a poison bite, so not like it's super duper 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 deadly. Because if it had another med kit, he would have made it. But like. He basically, Baby Yoda seems to have the power of exactly what medkit.
Right. And plus, on top of that, his race has a long lifespan anyways, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those of you who are saying, why didn't Anakin know how to do it? He was corrupted by the dark side and stuff, so, like, of course he wouldn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, I don't think the technique was really known back then, too. I think there's a thing in media where we assume that, like, every character is omnipresent.
Yeah.
With, like, knowledge. And I think it's okay for characters to not know things. That's how innovations in the real world work.
Right.
We didn't know how electricity worked.
Yes.
We didn't know how fire works. So people innovate. And I think that it's okay if somebody pulls out a new force power, they were the creative one that did that.
Yeah.
So Baby Yoda was the creative one that did that. And so it's okay.
Yeah.
Shows are not creative anyways.
Yeah, it was interesting. The only thing was, and I mean, it doesn't count because it's decanonized now because Expanded Universe isn't canon anymore, but it was like, I think it was in the old continuity, Jedi Council members actually did know Force healing, which is,
That makes it a little bit fucked up that they would go, oh, sorry about Shmi, dude.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't get to make it, bro.
Right. Like, oh, there was nothing we could do.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, Anakin.
You
can deal with that one.
I'm not giving up my life force.
Yeah, dude, there was no way he was learning that in Attack of the Clones. There was no fucking way.
All were stingy as hell. They're like, no, she.
Like, come on, man. I only got 500 years on my lifespan. I can't give you 20.
I gotta walk in this cane and do flips with my lightsaber. I can't give you 50 years. I can't 50 years.
What if the Sith attack in 499 years? I need that extra year.
I can do that 1 year, dude. I can make the whole difference. As Order 66 is on the horizon.
Right.
Yeah,
but I was gonna say, for me with this episode, if I may interject with my thoughts of this one, I really liked the client's speech about why would you refuse imperial peace? How could you say no? Like, I love that because it reminds me of in the comics, my ex-roommate told me how there were people that deliberately summoned and called for imperial aid and wanted imperial protection. And it reminds me of that speech in the comics, which is pretty similar in nature, where they're like, no, we chose order, we chose peace.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, though, when the Empire was, like, at its strongest, it's like, it's either the Empire or nothing.
Yeah. And it's like, fascism teaches you that there's no other option but fascism.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's why when his character tries to give the Mandalorian a motive speech, like, how could you refuse peace? What does he say exactly? Like, every system has been improved by the presence of the Empire on every measure. Every measure, yeah. Yeah, but I just love that speech because it's a very breaking moment. And again, Werner Herzog with his strong German accent coming through.
Right, yeah, that's another thing. Like with the client, like we haven't really talked about him that much, but yeah, I really liked Werner Herzog in this role. But it's a weird thing because like when he's speaking, it almost feels like he's speaking in monologue, and it's like I love when he's talking, but I don't remember exactly what he says. But like what he's saying at that moment is great.
I watch his documentaries, so like for me, I'm a huge fan of Werner Herzog because I was subjected to see several of his speeches and documentaries in my creative writing class, where he talks about the chickens and their inexplicable, immense stupidity. They are very susceptible to hypnosis. Like, I just remember his speech so well, or his talks about, like, early human writings. It's funny. He comments that this role was solely to fund one of his personal projects, but he actually loved the script. And then he also was the reason why Baby Yoda's a puppet, because he said something to one of the CGI people that, like, if you make him CGI, you are a coward.
Oh. Throwing shots.
Yeah, so so Werner Herzog, for context, is like the big part of like the a huge German director. Like a whole school of film has formed around how he approaches filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why when I saw him, I was like, you got this. Like, it's like having David Lynch or like any other auteur director, like a Martin Scorsese playing this character.
Yeah.
I was like, why would you have him sitting in that seat? But he fits.
Right.
He fits perfectly.
Right.
He sat there very cozy talking to the Mandalorian. I just love the accent so much. It's
Yes.
so goofy.
The Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian. How could you refuse peace? We've improved it on every measure. I don't know. It was just a pleasure to hear a breaking speech, because that's what Star Wars is also known for. When the dark side comes to you, they always have a speech. And they've always got a good speech. And he had a great speech, so I'm really happy that he had his moment here.
Yeah.
Other parts of the episode I enjoyed, so that's the one that stuck to me the most. The drama of Quill. I wanted my homie to make it back so bad.
Oh God.
I did not want him to die. I was like, oh no, don't take my boy like this. And they took my boy.
Oh God.
And the child.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was a sliver of a chance that he was gonna make it, but it was like, nope, dead.
Where was he gonna go? I knew he had to die because he was a person who lived his whole life. So it makes sense as to why things had transpired the way that they did.
Yeah.
So I think that was okay. It was his time. I just felt bad because I liked him quite a bit, and I think they have his eyes shut as he dies. I don't know if you saw that, but like for a couple frames you can see a flicker.
Oh.
And I was like, oh
man.
It set in
Oh,
real fast.
John Favreau, Dave Filoni, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I watched carefully, and yeah, his eyes flicker shut. I was like, no, they took my boy. And it's the first dire death. It wasn't the first dire death, but like it's like one of the first characters whose death struck out to be really far. I was like, oh no, I actually cared about him. Oh no. I know I can't kill too many people off of this series because season 2, but he was one of the ones that I was like, oh no, he could have been useful later, but I guess if it's his time to die, it's his time to die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the way.
I think that this is the way. Or, and as the director would say, this I have spoken. I have spoken. But it's his last words, I have spoken. The child
I've
said.
spoken.
But like, no, I think the drama of this episode was well executed. I think him going back and trying to set up things with grief was cool. I think the whole grief getting, again, I hate to draw the parallel to Castlevania, the Netflix series, but the whole premise of we're camping out at night and then monsters show up reminded me of that particular scene from that series, and I was like, that's another trope where the main cast is camped out having a good time when everything falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you gotta do that trope because it's very easy to do.
Yeah.
And it sets up like how they handle dire situations.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think this episode is kind of a neat one. Part 2 is definitely a fireworks show. Of this. So,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done.
All right. Get to the final episode, episode 8, Redemption, directed by Taika Waititi. So,
Hey.
So start off the episode with those stormtroopers on the speeder who end up killing Quill, and they get Baby Yoda and they put him in like one of their pocket bags or whatever, and they're waiting for orders from the what's his name? Sorry guys. Moff Gideon. Yeah, they're waiting for orders from Moff Gideon, and they're just talking about, what's this package for? And it's like, I don't know. And then one of the stormtroopers is like, I want to see it. But then the other stormtrooper's like, no, I don't. No, we ain't going to do that. And then he keeps nagging at him that he wants to see it. And then he's like, okay, fine, you can see it. And then they keep punching Baby Yoda, and I freaking clench my fist every time they punch Baby Yoda. I'm like, don't you dare harm Baby Yoda, you bastards. But But then IG-11 shows up and rescues Baby Yoda and brutally kills the stormtroopers. And then he ends up going back to where Mando and all of them are to rescue them with Baby Yoda strapped to him. And there's another shootout with IG-11, and then there's this whole shootout with Mando and Cara and all of them versus the stormtroopers. And then they try to find another way out to escape. And then Mando almost gets killed, but then IG-11 helps his repairs or whatever, and then we finally see his face, and then that's when they go find that other way to the tunnel. The stormtroopers are meeting him at the other side, and then IG-11 sacrifices himself, and then that's when they go into another shootout. And then forgot that the main female Mandalorian gives gives him a jetpack, and then that's when Moff Gideon uses his TIE fighter to catch up with them, and then there's this whole fight with Mando on the jetpack stopping his TIE fighter or whatever, and then they go off on their way. And of course we will talk about that. We'll talk about that end shot also with a little something called a dark saber. What do you guys think about this episode? What'd you say? What happened?
I nutted when I saw the dark saber.
I know.
Yeah, no, that scene was fantastic. I loved the beginning scene just because it was a nice little refreshing piece of comedy and all of this tension, especially with just the conversations between these two stormtroopers. Let's see what else I liked. I also liked how they handled the Mandalorian's almost death. Like, I actually thought when I was watching it, I was like, oh snap, like, are they actually going to kill off the Mandalorian and have someone else take over the mantle of, like, main character, like Cara Dune or something?
Oh, I would have been mad. I would have been mad. Don't do it.
I would have been mad, but it would have been like, I guess I understand. Like, it is what it is out there. But, it was a really nice season finale overall. The stakes were high, tensions were high, and I love it when a series makes you think that it's possible that a main character can die.
Yeah.
And, that this series did that really well.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much my takeaway from that. Here, I gotta step away for a second here. You guys continue.
Okay.
Alright, I do have to depart in a bit, so I'm going to keep mine very brief, but, wow, what a last episode, folks! Let's talk about the fact that Pedro Pascal revealing his face was an unreveal because it's just Pedro Pascal underneath the helmet.
Uh-huh. I mean, hey, why not? I mean, that's who he is, so...
It's like, I figured that's what was going to happen, but I was just like, I would have thought we would have seen something a bit more shocking, but no, it's just a dude. It's just a dude.
What, you wanted him to have scars or something, or be an alien?
I don't know. I know I didn't, but like my brain does. It's kind of like the Kakashi effect in Naruto. Kakashi's rest of his face must be a normal face, but my brain just goes, there must be something significant because it's behind a mask, and he never takes that mask off. Except there's finally the one episode reveals what he looks like. But it's like that effect where I'm like, there must be something significant. It can't just be a dude, it is just a dude. And I'm like, well, what did I expect? But no, I enjoyed this series a lot. This close, Baby Yoda getting punched, and listen to violent I suddenly felt my paternal side kick in. Like,
yeah.
And I know that's a typical response considering it's just a piece of Disney merch that's being punched. But something about that, and the fact it's Jason Sudeikis as playing a stormtrooper that bops Yoda in the nose. Just this comedian actor. It's funny because it's a comedic scene that's fucked up. And you're like, oh no, ha. But no, the last episode of The Mandalorian to me felt like a great closer. It's got me pumped up for season 2. I'm looking forward to everything that's going to happen with that. It feels like a really great way to send the season off. So, commentary-wise, I don't have much to say other than what a neat and tidy setup.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and after that, folks, I apologize. I've got to get moving.
Okay, before you go, one more thing. Two questions. One, what grade would you give this season?
Well, I gave a score earlier. I said that I have invented a new system for myself where I will score a show based on how many episodes it has, and then out of how many episodes was this show good. This show has 8 episodes, so I give it a 7 out of 8. Because there's only one episode. Again, for me, it was the 6th one, but for most it's episode 5. But 7 out of 8. Most of the episodes are good. Near 100% score. Near a perfect score.
Okay. And will we? Okay, cool. And will we see you for our discussion on season 7 of Clone Wars?
Depending on the date, but yes. Actually, no, I take that back. Screw the date. I will actually step up and do it. Yes, but here's the thing. I'm gonna warn you all now.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the Clone Wars in bits and pieces, which is why I couldn't. The Darksaber is cool as heck. I was like, what?
Yeah, the Darksaber, yes.
Yeah, so I mentioned that real quick before I go. But yeah, I was like, excuse me? I didn't follow the Clone Wars that closely. But when that happened, I was like, my head spun. And another hype because that ties into to the Mandalorian lore very deeply. And I'm glad that the show definitely cross-pollinates its continuity with that.
Oh, yeah.
I was thoroughly happy about that. That was a very nice nod. I think that's an example of fan service that ties it to story service in a beautiful way.
Mm-hmm.
It had to happen that way. Yeah. So I was very glad about that. But yeah, overall, we'll be to the Clone Wars because I want to commentate on some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been fun to be on this podcast. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you for being with us. We'll see you next time.
All right. See you next time, fellas.
All right. Okay. Ruby, what your thoughts on the final episode?
Final episode definitely had a lot happening, and that's generally good. Like, I definitely want to see a lot of stuff happening for a season finale. The stormtroopers, bopping Baby Yoda in the face is just wanting me to dive through a TV and then just punch them through the visor helmets.
Yeah.
But then IG-11 comes in and does it for me, so I'm saved there. The Mando revealing his face was actually, like, the season finale definitely made it seem like that was a good time to do it. My only question is, will he ever reveal his face again in front of, like, actual people? Which would be really interesting to go over if they ever decide on doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then their major escape plan was a little bit drab in certain places, but like it definitely like kept this the episode going.
Mm-hmm.
And IG-11 sacrifice, his IG-11 sacrifice is leagues better than K-2S.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Yeah. Even though I liked
that, you will never see another droid walk through a river of molten lava against like an army of stormtroopers,
mm-hmm.
self-destructing just to help your friends get away.
Yeah, that last stand was like, all right. How many of you played through Final Fantasy VII?
I can't say that I have.
I can't really say that I have.
Okay, so they had a prequel game called Crisis Core where this guy named Zach Fair basically did the same thing, sacrificed himself so that his friend could get away. And it's, I was getting those same vibes from there, so it was pulling emotions from me that I hadn't felt in like 7 years.
Oh, I gotcha.
Mm.
But yeah, at the end of that, during the episode, we get to see Mando have his jetpack, which was really cool because we got to see Mando square off against Moff Gideon in his unique-looking TIE fighter because the wings actually like fold in now.
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely a good season 1 finale. Like, it was definitely interesting to watch Mandalorians use their jetpacks more, like, in a live-action standpoint, because we only see Mandalorians do that in animated show.
Right.
So to see that in live action was definitely a nice touch. The only thing I could really say that I wish happened at the end of season 1 was having Mando like keep his crew instead of like leaving them behind, and just having it be just him and Baby Yoda, because it's been like them two for like the whole season.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I would have liked if Kara and Grief went along with him or something.
Yeah,
and then they end up going to different planets, like in season 2, where they end up finding new comrades to join their crew. That'd be a nice setup for season 2, you know?
Though at the same time, if I can interject, at the same time, they, I feel like they might meet up again in season 2, just because you can't just easily get rid of those characters. And
for sure.
Yeah, and then 2, I kind of feel like they didn't do things that way, because in the past with like these Star Wars series and movies, there's always been like a crew, but I guess they kind of want to give Mandalorian his like lone wolf kind of vibe.
Yeah, but I feel like at the end of that season, we kind of felt like he's kind of evolved, like he's just starting to evolve beyond that, you know?
He definitely has. It's just that, like, I don't know. I kind of feel like their main thing was they wanted to go against what all these other series and movies have been doing for Star Wars, where you had a core crew and they're all, you know, they all get along with each other, but instead this time you just got a guy and his baby. But,
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be the only thing I'd really say that I wish happened in the season finale, is that Mando would actually have like an actual crew, or like something to like start off with before going into season 2. But you know, I guess like the ending for it was fine, and then like the I'm gonna say that it was a mid-credit scene, because it basically was. It felt like a mid-credit scene of the crashed TIE fighter, and then all of a sudden you see like this beam or something cut through, like a hole through the TIE fighter to get out. You don't know what it is at first. I'm like, well, what the fuck? Okay, first of all, he's alive. Okay, that's good. But like, what the hell is he using to cut through it? But then you see him bust open that little hatch, and then you see big boy Moff Gideon, Darksaber in his hand, live action.
The money. That was the money.
That was the money shot.
Yeah, the main thing I'm hoping for in season 2, because we're getting all these cameos of, like, you know, Ahsoka Tano and Boba Fett, I would love for them to do a flashback sequence of the Jedi Mandalorian that made that Darksaber.
Yeah, I would like to see how they, I want to see them, like, go through the Darksaber more, because how they explained it in the Clone Wars was just like, this was used, like, during the times of the Old Republic, and since then a lot of Jedi have died upon its blade, and then it's just like, that says nothing. Like, there are many Jedi that have died to many blades.
Yeah, like, the whole thing was like, this one
other
was
than
made...
the center is now black and not white.
Yeah, their whole thing was like, oh, it was made by the first and only Mandalorian Jedi, and then it ended up on that planet, and they're very defensive about it, so you can't have it. So I imagine that in season 2, we're probably going to see Mandalorian wielding that blade.
That'd be nice. That'd be really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Or could Moff Gideon be a secret Mandalorian that we just don't know about?
That would be cool too. Like, oh, how'd you get that blade? I am a Mandalorian.
I have a feeling, because that's what they were kind of alluding to with Mando, because like he knows who he is, so it's like, oh, we have ties.
Yeah, like only a Mandalorian. Specifically, I think like the leader of the Mandalorians is supposed to be the one that uses that weapon.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, like, also think about, like, there's two different sides of Mandalorians now. Because there's the Darth Maul side of Mandalorians, and then there's the good guy side of Mandalorians.
Yeah. There's also the question of how did he get that from, what's her name from Rebels? I can't remember her name.
Sabine?
Yeah.
Sabine.
Because, you know, we're supposed to be getting that sequel series as well, so I wonder if they're going to explain how he got that blade. I'm a little afraid because that may mean that character died, but...
Well, I can see that coming.
Right?
All in all, Chapter 8 was a lot of fun, and I am interested to see what Season 2 brings.
Yeah, so, I don't really have much to say after that. You guys pretty much said what I was gonna say. This is the best episode of the series. Yeah, I just pretty much liked everything. I liked Mando and everyone working together. I liked that the arc between IG-11 and Mando was great with him revealing his face. I thought that was all masterfully done well with that. And the stormtroopers actually felt imposing in this episode, because I think the stormtroopers fucking suck. But in this episode, they were actually like, oh, they actually might kill these bitches. But
yeah, they're actually competent.
they're actually pretty competent in this. Yeah, like that, and yeah, I liked IG-11's sacrifice. I thought that was really well done. And yeah, that whole squabble with the TIE fighter was freaking crazy, but it was awesome at the same time. And yeah, I like the closure and stuff at the end. I agree with Seth. I wish that everyone just stood together and not went off with their separate ways, but it's fine if we'll see him again in season 2. I'm okay with it. And yeah, the money shot with the dark saber singing in live action, it's amazing. I love it. Looks great. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about it. And I'm surprised because with Taika Waititi, has been hit or miss for me recently. Because yes, I'm one of the few human beings on this earth that didn't like Ragnarok that much, Thor Ragnarok that much. I didn't really care for it. Yeah, sorry. But I do think that Taika is a talented director. He does have a unique style, and I felt his style in this episode, but it didn't feel overbearing. Like that opening thing with the stormtroopers, you could tell that's vintage Taika humor. So it fit with the episode. So yeah, who would have thought that Taika would make the best episode of the season? But yeah, he did really well. And seeing this, I'm actually looking forward to his Star Wars movie whenever that comes out.
Yeah.
But
Old
yeah,
Republic stuff.
yeah, we'll see. That would be interesting. I don't know if I can see him.
That's where they say that they're taking it. They say that they're going to be doing Old Republic, which, hey, I'm all for that. I would love to see a big fight scene between an army of Jedi and an army of Sith.
Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily want Taika to direct that. I think I would want Taika to do something like do his own thing, maybe. But if he does end up doing Old Republic stuff, I would not be opposed to it. But yeah, that's our overall thoughts on The Mandalorian. So, we're gonna go to grades now. Overall, I thought this was a really good series. It's it's one of the best. Well, do I want to say it's one of the best stuff that I've seen from Star Wars recently? Yeah, it's up. I would say it's up there. It's a really well made show. It's very unique from stuff we've seen from the past. And this is see take notes, Kathleen Kennedy. Take notes, Lucasfilm. This is how you do Star Wars content. You can go far if you just have a plan. Just have a plan. Plan things out. Make sure everyone's on the same page. This is what it looks like. Even though in general I do enjoy the sequel trilogy, I feel this show was more planned out than the sequel trilogy. This was better structured than the sequel trilogy. It knows more what it wants to be than the sequel trilogy. And it's funny that a freaking series on Disney Plus is better structured than the movies. I don't understand that. I hope this is a wake-up call for Kathleen Kennedy or whoever's running Lucasfilm, that this is how you do it. And if they're thinking that the future of Star Wars is streaming service, I wouldn't be opposed to it. From what we've gotten here, I think it's really well done. The characters are great, the story is great, the episodes are well structured, the narrative is well structured, the humor is really good, the world building's great. Overall, it's just a very enjoyable show. Do I think this is better than than the Clone Wars? No. But do I think it's better than Rebels? That's debatable. But I think it is one of the best Star Wars shows we've gotten. So, overall, I will give The Mandalorian Season 1 a B+. Kosa.
I'm gonna give it an A minus, and I'm gonna say it's an A minus specifically because of Episode 5. If it wasn't for Episode 5, if I could just completely eradicate that from my mind, I'd give it an A. I loved everything about it. I loved the characters. I loved the cast. I loved the music, the cinematography. I loved the little bits of humor here and there. Yeah, loved everything about it.
Mm-hmm. Ruby.
And for me, it's if episode 2 and 5 were changed up a little bit so that it's not feeling like I'm watching like a drag fest, then this season would definitely be like 1 letter grade up. But it's definitely an enjoyable season to watch. Like the characters are very interesting to watch. It's nice to know that there's a different part of the galaxy that doesn't know much about the Jedi yet. We have some stuff to look forward to in season 2. Which not that you don't really hear about that many shows like doing that kind of stuff. Personally, actually, I'm not so. Controversial opinion. I'm not so huge about the music.
What?
I'm not feeling the music in this season.
I will say that's fair.
That, and I also just don't like that intro, like with the panning over the faces and then just Star Wars. Like, this is like,
it's different, but
it's different, but like it doesn't work for me.
All right, but you can't expect every episode to start off with the.
Or
yeah, but like you.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That is the only thing I really needed from it.
Yeah.
Because that right there just caps it off even more. Like, okay, this is Star Wars, and I'm watching. That I can just remember that.
Yeah. If the opening was, I would have liked it if the opening was more like what Star Wars: The Clone Wars does, where it's like a short, like, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Here's a logo for the series, and last time on whatever.
Yeah, actually.
Or just have it like maybe like 1 or 2 paragraphs of that, like how the narrator does like the narration for like every opening episode.
Oh no! Please don't do that again.
Yeah,
please don't do that again. No.
They do that same thing, but like they don't do the narrator. They do what they did in Solo, where they had the same font and text like a long time ago, and just have that opening crawl text just be like pan and zoom in for like 1 or 2 paragraphs or something, and then Mandalorian jumping into the episode.
I see what you're saying, but I personally don't want that. I think I've said this before, and like when we're talking about the movies, like the crawl, I think should be saved for the main timeline of Star Wars. I think that's what makes it more. What makes it more special. That's why I was personally okay with Rogue One and Solo not having that, because I felt like it should be saved for the main Skywalker saga at the time, or whatever main timeline stuff. It just makes it more unique and special, And plus, I don't feel like
I'm not talking about like have it like the same like way of doing it like in like the episodic films. I'm talking about like what they did with Solo, where it's more intimate and it's more subtle, where it's not like all like bang music appears,
Okay.
Like we're just kind of like leaning into it, instead of just like bang and we're here.
Though I'm okay with them like recapping the way they did, because first of all, this is a streaming show, and so it's like that's what they normally do with the recaps and stuff like that. And
I do like the episode recaps. Yeah, I'll give you that. I like how they did the recap of the episodes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the recaps are great. I just like what I was thinking is like something kind of like how Clone Wars does a recap. I kind of like that.
I actually would agree with Ruby. Like, I wish they did keep a long time ago in the galaxy far, far away. I think, and then they could keep all the other stuff they were doing. Like I did like the simple, the logo of Mandalorian. I like that. But yeah, that Disney Plus Star Wars intro, that was weird.
That's so cheesy.
That was so weird.
It's a little off, but you get used to it.
It's just like you're also showing like Kylo Ren's helmet in there when Kylo Ren came after Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Well, they're addressing
Kylo Ren's
everything
helmet,
in
that boy ain't even born yet.
He's not even here.
Well, they're addressing everything in the timeline. You know, it's not just the stuff that came before. We got to address everything in the timeline. You know.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah,
But anyway,
it was weird. It
for all
felt like a Marvel intro. I'm like, why? Why are we doing this? You don't use this for the Clone Wars, thanks
we need
God.
a 1 minute intro logo of just recapping the entire saga before we get into one episode of Mandalorian. In the style of
In case you
Marvel.
weren't here for 1 through 6, or the Clone Wars.
Or Solo, or Rogue One. Here's a recap.
Oh, brother.
We're taking more time just to recap everything before we more than just like the actual episode of Mandalorian.
Right. The episode starts just with a Wikipedia page to the synopsis.
It's like, yeah, we don't need a logo saying this is Star Wars. We already know it's Star Wars. Just get on with it.
Just say a long time ago and then just move into that episode.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, I guess that's all I really need to say. I guess at the end of the day, I'd probably give Mandalorian Season 1 a B-, just because of those. Episode 2 and Episode 5 were a little bit clunky, and it's a Star Wars series that I know a lot of other people would enjoy. I, too, have enjoyed it, but I personally enjoy watching the episodic films just more because they just hold more of an entertainment value to me, I feel like.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, Mandalorian's good. It's just not something that I would really go back to. Like it's if I were to go back to it like every once in a while, that's fine. But like every like once a week, nah.
That's fair.
Dude.
Yeah, it's similar to how I feel. That's why it kept it from being an A to me, because even though I do really enjoy this show, it's still like it's not as important as the main saga stuff, and it doesn't hold that entertainment value that the main sagas do. Like, I prefer to watch The Force Awakens over The Mandalorian, but not to say that The Mandalorian is bad compared to The Force Awakens. I'm just saying I just prefer to watch that a little bit more because it's more entertaining to me. And like I said, there's some Deus Ex Machina stuff in here, and there's some questions that I had with some narrative choices here and there that keeps it from being perfect. But like I said, I still really enjoy it, and I will watch this again, you know? But that's how we feel about The Mandalorian. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Does this redeem the sequel trilogy to y'all? Comment below and let us know. Can we not talk about the sequel trilogy, please? Anyway. So if you guys enjoyed this, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. We're almost there. We're at 96. We just need 4 more. I know there's
97.
Huh?
97.
I'm at 97?
You're at 97 now.
Oh my god! Thank you guys for helping me get to 97. Couldn't have done this without the viewers. I hope to keep you guys, keep continuing to give you guys content that you love. We just need 3 more subscribers. 3 more, we get to 100. And if I get to 100 subscribers, I will do a video revealing my favorite films of all time. I will do a video.
So top 20.
Top 20. I might change that number, depending. We will see. But yes, I will reveal I will give you at least my top 20 favorite films of all time. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. So the next Star Wars content that I want to cover on the channel is Season 7 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. to be honest, I want to cover the entire show, but that's a lot of content to talk about. So we're just going to have season 7 for right now, and maybe
plus, if we try to talk about like every season at a time, it's probably just gonna like delay us talking about season 7 just even further.
Right. Like, I'm sure we're going to bring up some key points from the show, so it's not like we're not going to talk about it's not like we're just going to only talk about season 7, because important stuff ties into stuff in the previous seasons. But I think it is going to be mainly season 7 centric, because that's the bulk of the conversation right now. So yeah, tune in to that when it comes out. And I'll be continuing on with my James Bond series, so tune in for those when that comes out as well. But that's all we have for you Star Wars fans, and we will see you guys in the next one. May the Force be with you. Bye-bye.
All right, take it easy, guys.
See you.